let's go to the other Blu-ray release of the week. Would you like to describe this back cover?
Sure. We got a back cover here. Bottom third is special features and credits and all that. Top third is mostly a blurb with on the right-hand side a blank spot. I'm guessing for a pending ISBN code or something like that. And we got to the left of that one picture and below that three further pictures. Top picture left, there's a very distressed, bearded, mustachioed guy with frazzled hair, doubtless driving a car, sitting behind the wheel, and it looks like there's a bullet hole in the windshield centered right in the middle of his forehead. This person is still alive. That's worth mentioning for this one. And then going just below it, we see the same mustached, bearded gentleman, tan surfer suit, and he seems to be angrily speaking to a left-hand guy who has one of the most chiseled, square jaws I have ever seen, with a look that would be perhaps more intimidating if he weren't also wearing a Santa cap during this encounter. To the right of that, is that one image? It's two.
Two. Yeah,
Two. And right of that, we have same bearded mustache tan guy looking a bit frantic on a payphone with some blood coming from the upper right-hand side of his forehead. Not a bullet wound, but doubtless a cut or a bump of some sort. And to the right of that, a couple guys who look kind of cheesy tough with another mustache thing going on. Looks like salt encrusted hair. They're standing in front of either I don't know, a little bar or a clubhouse or some sort of beachfront property thing.
yes.
Lots of sun.
Lots of
Oh,
sun. It's a very sunny movie. The gentleman you see in three out of four of these stills, you'll probably recognize.
oh yes. Well, it's Nicolas Cage
It's
as
Nicolas Cage. And
with his
so,
300 features is very recognizable.
yeah. And so that would mean that this is probably the Blu-ray version of The Surfer, which is a movie I'm going to recommend to everybody who's watching. Weird movie lovers are, even if you're very just weird movie tolerant, I think this is a good one. It's a good crossover movie because Nick Cage, of course, is always fun to watch, and this is one of a string of great performances that he's had. Great bonkers performances. Not really as it's not bonkers as as much as Mandy or something like that, but it's Cage being Cage.
Yeah, under the direction of Lorcan Finnegan, whom I had the pleasure of meeting some years ago after his Vivarium
Yes,
read
Vivarium,
at Fantasia.
also a recommended movie. I think this is more approachable for general audiences than
Oh yeah,
Vivarium was. Um,
yeah.
we'll discuss on this Blu-ray the special features, audio commentary with director Lorcan Finnegan, a making of documentary called Through a Wave Darkly, and the trailer. Also, they're really bragging that they have a digital copy, which is, I don't know, I guess.
I really like the diagram which shows all four major formats of computer from desktop to laptop to tablet to iPhone to
Yeah,
smartphone.
yeah, I don't
It'll
really want to watch this on my
across all of
smartphone.
them.
Let me read you if I can, um, the text from the back. Can you read the text from the
Yeah,
back?
I got it. In Larkin Finnegan's surreal psychological thriller, a man, Nicolas Cage, returns to the idyllic beach of his childhood to surf with his son, only to be thwarted by the locals' hardcore quote, "Don't live here, don't surf here" rule. Bitter but determined to surf his beach and buy the house nearby where he grew up, the man suffers tribulations of body and soul that push him to his limits. A meditation on punishment, temptation, and salvation. The surfer burns deep.
Okay, so I'll just give you the kind of Cliff Notes version of the plot. I think it's kind of easy to avoid spoilers on this one because in the end, it's not entirely clear what happens. Maybe that's a spoiler in itself, but it's one of those movies, where it's got an ambiguous ending and therefore it's hard to spoil. But the basics of the plot is Nicolas Cage is obviously an American who has married an Australian woman, had a child who's grown up to be a teenager, gotten divorced. Now he's come back. He wants to buy a property on a cliffside, a mansion overlooking this great beach. And this great beach is near where he grew up, apparently, as a child. Although he didn't ever get an Australian accent for some reason, who knows. He brings his son to surf around Christmas time at the beach. Christmas, of course, it being the southern hemisphere, being very hot out there wherever they are. And as he's attempting to surf there right underneath the location of his family home, which he's hoping to buy, these locals, a local gang of surf toughs, tell him beaches for locals only, bully him, refuse to let him surf, make him back down in front of his child. He retreats. Now, as it goes on, he keeps trying to go out and surf and defying the gang of toughs, but they, aren't easily defied. They steal his surfboard. He gets beat up a good bit, and he ends up in this kind of parking lot rest area that's above the beach, a public area, with his car. His car battery dies. He loses his cell phone. And he's very quickly kind of destitute, and he's getting all these little nicks and cuts from various things, like stepping on a bottle or battles. And so he's living out of his car for a while. In this little rest area type place, there's also a bum who is living there, living out of his car. And that bum is much older gentleman who has also been bullied by this gang on the surf and apparently has been living there for many years after his dog was stolen by the gang and so forth. And this seems like it's going to be Nick Cage's destiny if he does not find a way out. Meanwhile, he's trying to buy the house, but there's some kind of financial problem. He's on the phone with his broker. They're having trouble getting the money over, and then of course he loses his phone, so he can't contact anybody. So it looks like he's not going to get to close on the house anyway. And so meanwhile, this gang actually is kind of a manosphere type cult of tough macho-ness, and they are bullying Nicolas Cage badly until, does he decide better to join them or continue to try to defy them and be his own man and follow his own path? And he has a lot of flashbacks and some hallucinations, and it all goes to a kind of psychedelic climax, and then you have that ambiguous ending I was talking about. There are a lot of similarities I found to The Swimmer, the surfer, the swimmer, a swimmer about a middle-aged divorced man who's kind of in denial about how far his life has fallen. He sees himself as this great, successful bourgeois man, and as he continues throughout the movie, it's more and more revealed that he is a little more flawed than it appears at first. And so I saw a lot of similarities there, which the director has admitted. And one other thing, as I was watching in preparation for this, I watched Mark Kermode's review of this, and he mentioned similarities that he saw to Dostoevsky's The Double. Now, I didn't see these, other than there being sort of a doppelganger presence. I didn't see anything that was really like The Double per se. So he's either seeing something I wasn't seeing in it, or he's talking about it a little more loosely in that there's simply a doppelganger in it. So, So that's that. I think this is a movie that would especially appeal to Giles since he
Yes,
loves
yeah.
Nick Cage and weird
Nick
movies. And
Cage,
here
falling apart,
they're both
weird things.
there.
Yep.
And he loves falling apart. And
Yeah, he's good at it. Yeah.
so that is The Surfer. Of course, you can always watch this on VOD. You don't have to buy this Blu-ray. One last thing I'll mention is I really love the soundtrack on this, which is kind of a surf exotica soundtrack. Not exactly what you would have expected, but there it is.